The cake was melting in the summer heat, and my daughter Lily's laughter rang louder than the pop song blasting from the speakers. I was juggling a tray of cupcakes when I heard the screech of tires like nails on a chalkboard. It stopped me cold. Then came the megaphone. "This is the HOA, cease this unauthorized gathering now." I'm Sarah, a single mom who'd spent weeks planning Lily's 4th birthday party in our suburban backyard. We'd moved to Pinewood Estates 6 months ago, chasing a quiet life after years in the city. The neighborhood was picture-perfect manicured lawns, white picket fences, kids on bikes. But the Pinewood Homeowners Association, they were the self-appointed kings of this cookie-cutter kingdom, and I was about to learn just how far their power trip could go. Lily's party was modest 20 kids, a bounce house, a piñata stuffed with candy. I'd sent invites to neighbors, thinking it'd be a chance to fit in. The HOA had rules, sure, but I checked no mention of birthday parties being banned. I even paid the $50 community event fee to cover the extra noise. So when I saw 3 HOA officers storming through my gate, blue jackets emblazoned with HOA like some wannabe SWAT team, my stomach dropped. "Ma'am, this event violates Section 4.2 of the Pinewood Code," barked Karen, the HOA president, her clipboard clutched like a shield. Karen was a wiry woman with a perm that screamed 1985 and a glare that could curdle milk. "You didn't submit Form 17B for large gatherings." I blinked, dumbfounded. "It's a kids' party. I paid the fee. What's the problem?" "The problem," she snapped, "is unauthorized amplification devices." She pointed at my Bluetooth speaker and an unapproved inflatable structure. She gestured at the bounce house like it was a meth lab. The kids were still giggling, oblivious, but the parents started whispering. My neighbor Tom, a quiet guy who always mowed his lawn at 7 a.m., stepped forward. "Karen, come on, it's a birthday party." "Let it go." Her eyes narrowed. "Rules are rules. Tom, we can't have chaos in Pinewood." She raised her megaphone again. "Disperse now, or we'll escalate this." Escalate, I thought she meant fines. Maybe a stern letter. I was wrong. The tension thickened as Karen's posse, 2 other HOA goons, Bob and Linda, started taking photos of my yard like it was a crime scene. Bob, a retired accountant with a beer gut, muttered about property value depreciation. Linda, who always wore sunglasses even at night, scribbled furiously on a notepad. The parents were getting restless. Some grabbed their kids and left, shooting me apologetic looks. I felt my cheeks burn not from embarrassment, but from anger. This was Lily's day, and these power-hungry bureaucrats were ruining it. "Karen," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I followed your rules. I paid the fee. You can't just shut us down." She smirked. Actually smirked. "You'll find we can—" "Sarah, you signed the covenant when you moved here. Pinewood has standards." That's when Lily tugged at my hand, her big brown eyes wide. "Mommy, why's the mean lady yelling?" My heart cracked. I knelt down, forcing a smile. "It's okay, sweetie. Just grown-up stuff." But it wasn't okay. The situation spiraled when Karen pulled out her phone and called the sheriff's department. "We have a non-compliant resident refusing to disperse an illegal gathering," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The parents gasped. Tom shook his head, muttering, "This is insane." Within 10 minutes, 2 squad cars rolled up. 4 deputies stepped out, hands on holsters, faces grim. The lead officer, Deputy Harris, looked confused as he scanned the yard kids with party hats, a half-eaten cake, balloons tied to chairs. "What's the issue here?" he asked. Karen launched into a tirade about violations and community safety. I tried to explain, but she talked over me, waving her clipboard like a gavel. The deputies looked at each other, clearly unsure why they were here, but Harris sighed and said, "Ma'am, if you don't have a permit, you need to shut this down." "A permit?" I nearly laughed. "For a birthday party? Are you kidding me?" That's when the twist came. Old Mrs. Delaney, The 80-year-old widow who lived across the street shuffled out of her house with a walker. She was the neighborhood's unofficial historian, always telling stories about Pinewood's good old days. Nobody expected her to get involved. She barely left her porch. But there she was, fire in her eyes, pointing a trembling finger at Karen. "Young lady, Mrs. Delaney said, her voice sharp. "You've gone too far. I've lived here 50 years, and we never needed permits for kids' parties. You're turning this place into a prison." The crowd murmured in agreement. Karen's face reddened, but she doubled down. "Mrs. Delaney, with all due respect, times have changed. We have rules to protect." "Protect what, Mrs. Delaney?" cut her off. "Your ego. You're scaring a little girl on her birthday." She turned to the deputies. "And you, why are you wasting time on this nonsense? Go catch real criminals." The parents cheered. I felt a surge of hope. Maybe this would end peacefully. But Karen wasn't backing down. The climax hit like a freight train. Karen, sensing her authority slipping, grabbed her megaphone and shouted, "This is your final warning. Disperse or face consequences." She signaled to Bob and Linda, who started unplugging my speaker and deflating the bounce house. The kids screamed, thinking it was a game at first, until the bounce house collapsed with a sad wheeze. Lily burst into tears, clinging to my leg. I scooped her up, my blood boiling. "Stop it," I yelled, storming toward Karen. "You're traumatizing my daughter." That's when it got worse. One of the deputies, a rookie who looked barely out of high school, misread the chaos. He drew his gun, shouting, "Everyone, back up." The other deputies followed suit, hands on their weapons. The parents froze, some shielding their kids. Tom yelled, "Are you serious right now?" A neighbor's phone was still recording, capturing every second of this absurdity. The yard was a war zone, tables knocked over in the panic. The piñata smashed, candy scattered like shrapnel. Lily sobbed into my shoulder, and I felt helpless, furious, betrayed. This wasn't just about a party anymore. It was about power, control, and a system that let petty tyrants like Karen weaponize rules to ruin lives. Mrs. Delaney, undeterred, hobbled closer to Deputy Harris. "Put those guns away," she demanded. "You're scaring children." Harris hesitated, then motioned for his team to stand down. The guns lowered, but the damage was done. The party was over. Parents grabbed their kids and left, some whispering about lawsuits, others about moving out of Pinewood. Karen, smug as ever, handed me a $500 fine notice for noncompliance. "You brought this on yourself," she said before strutting off with her goons. The deputies left without an apology, just a mumbled, "Follow the rules next time." The aftermath was a wildfire. The neighbor's video went viral on X within hours, racking up millions of views. The hashtag #Chotirani trended, with people sharing their own stories of overzealous HOAs. Local news picked it up, and soon reporters were knocking on my door. I didn't want the attention, but I wanted justice for Lily, for every kid who just wanted a normal birthday, for every neighbor fed up with Pinewood's nonsense. The public's outrage forced a town hall meeting. Karen tried to defend herself, claiming she was protecting property values, but the crowd wasn't having it. Mrs. Delaney took the mic, recounting how Pinewood used to be a community, not a dictatorship. "We've let these petty tyrants run our lives for too long," she said, and the room erupted in applause. The twist deepened when Tom revealed he'd been secretly collecting signatures to dissolve the HOA. He'd started months ago, fed up with their fines for everything from unapproved mailboxes to excessive holiday lights. The viral video gave him the momentum he needed. By the end of the week, enough residents had signed to force a vote. Karen was livid, but her reign was crumbling. Lily, she was okay. Eventually, I threw her a makeup party at a local park outside Pinewood's jurisdiction. No fines, no megaphones, just kids laughing and cake smudged on faces. But I'll never forget the fear in her eyes that day, or the way the HOA turned a joyous moment into a nightmare. Karma came for Karen. The HOA was dissolved in a landslide vote, and she moved out of Pinewood a month later, unable to handle the glares from neighbors. The deputies issued a public apology after the sheriff's department faced backlash online. Pinewood started to feel like a community again, but the scars remained. This wasn't just about a party. It was about standing up to bullies who hide behind rules to control others. It was about reminding people that community means compassion, not clipboards. So, what do you think? Have you dealt with an HOA horror story or a power trip gone too far? Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them.